it gives us an opportunity with the project team to step back and think about how well are we doing our work. And we spend a lot of time collecting the data and indicators, looking at the results, reporting to donors, etc. But sometimes we don't really have the time to actually step back from the log frame and not so much just look at the results and the data, but actually think about and reflect on the quality of what we're doing. And so this is what this tool is supposed to give us the space to do. Once a year, step back from our projects, and with a broader group of staff, really ask some of these critical questions and help our learning about what we're doing, help us think about ways we can make improvements for the future, and identify things that maybe are ways we can transfer knowledge across, share knowledge with other projects, other programs within the country office, and also outside of the country office. So we can really see, this can be useful for actually our reflection, how to improve and plan better for the future, and for actually sharing learning about our areas of strength. This has been tested over the past year by Learning Labs. And I don't know, are all of you familiar with what Learning Labs are? No? Okay, yeah, so we have some pretty new people. Learning Labs, they were basically this past year, there were eight country offices. In Ural's region, it's Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, who were identified as country offices that are going to basically more intentionally and rigorously move forward on the program approach, and based on their experience and their learning, share it with the rest of the organization. So I think that most of you are familiar with the program approach. Is that correct? What we're trying to do, as an organization, and as Care Nepal, I've heard many, exciting examples of how you all are moving in this direction as well, is basically say we don't want to have lots of disconnected projects running on doing their own thing around the country. Any individual project may be doing great work, but to really achieve the impact that we want to achieve on the lives of you will call them the PVSCs, right? Poor, vulnerable, and socially excluded people in Nepal, then what we really want to do is make sure that these projects, there's some links, there's connections between them, so that the individual things that we're doing add up to something bigger than themselves, so that we can achieve greater impact. And that's really what the point of the program approach is to help us be more strategic, to achieve more impact, and to have better connections and links between our programming, so that we're not all just kind of doing our own thing in isolated little pockets. This tool is really to help us, and this is what the Learning Labs have been testing over the past year, really to help us figure out, assess kind of the quality and take stock of where we are. What is going on in kind of our individual projects? How can we better connect them? Where are some of our real areas of strength that we can build on as we're transitioning to programs? And where are some areas where maybe we're surprised that we're not doing so well and we really need to kind of invest more time and capacity building and resources into? And so this is kind of to help us be more strategic in the way we move forward in our program approach, and more thoughtful about the existing work that we have in place and kind of how we can actually build on that and improve that moving forward.
Now, since some of the staff were new, Care Nepal was excited that this tool could help orient staff about the country office's strategic plan, about the program approach, and about program quality standards. It is important to orient the group to the purpose of the Pequot and any key terms used throughout the tool before applying the tool. Also, prior to beginning, the group learned about the Jan-Seek project by reading background documents before the meeting and hearing an overview from the project manager, which was really helpful. Once we started actually applying the Pequot, the most important thing for the group to realize is that the tool is only useful if everyone is willing to have an open and honest discussion with critical feedback from colleagues. Many difficult issues may come up, such as what do we mean by empowerment? Take a look at this discussion between Care Nepal staff.
In all our activity, livelihood power, livelihood empowerment, I think most of the, participants are women. I mean, in SCGs, most of them are women, and in advocacy center, there is another part, there also most of the, the participants are women, and children also, and there are few men as well, you know, but maybe 90%, more than 90% is women.
I think that as we're talking about empowerment, I don't think that this question is really just about how are we working with women. I think the question is a little bit bigger than that. And I think that maybe if we think about the power relationships, the power dynamic that's in place, I'm sure that with the Janjatis, there is a power dynamic between them and other Nepalis. Maybe between the poorest group, the Sural, I think you said, the endangered ones. Maybe between them and other Janjatis, there are power dynamics. Maybe between men and women Sural, maybe between women Sural and other Nepali women. There are many power dynamics in play. And I think that when we are talking about promoting empowerment, it's really important to consider what are the unequal power relations in place within the impact group and the broader population, and how is what we're doing addressing those the inequity in those power relations.
And you are talking, maybe you can also shed light on the strategy for the savings and credit and all these income generation activities is the steps. But I think we need to go further elaborate, further deepen on how this initiatives is in bringing change in the lives of men and women, how they've been able to use the benefits out of this project. So those analysis, I think we need to discuss about it, how our strategies are deliberately targeting for women to benefit and influence these processes. We also need to have a deeper analysis about the women empowerment, and women empowerment will not happen only working with women. I think that's the key. I think we need to think like women empowerment will happen that when women work with others also. So for women empowerment, critical engagement of men is very important for advancing women's rights. So we need to have a strategy to work with men also.
So you can see how this tool can help raise critical questions and why it is so important to be open to different opinions. The project team in Nepal was a great example of this. And this is especially important to keep in mind at the end of each section when the group assigns a rating. Sometimes staff have different opinions about the ratings that the project deserves, so it's important to be as objective as possible. Let's hear some of the discussion from the Nepal group, going back and forth about what rating would be appropriate.